following program on Ada Derana 24 is classified for general audience. It is intended for all ages. It contains little or no violence, no strong language, and little or no sexual dialogue or situations.
Hello and welcome to Business Best, a platform where we explore different sorts of ventures and entrepreneurs in today's market, and of course to get their ideas and advices from them for people who want to inspire, be inspired, and of course to start up their own thing. We have such a company and such a special guest that we have with us for today's discussion. We have the Managing Director of Airflow Systems Private Limited, Mr. Jayaweera. Hello and welcome, Mr. Jayaweera. Welcome to the show.
Welcome. Thank you.
So, usually, Mr. Jayaweera, when it comes to our guests that come here, of course, to talk about their business, but we also need to know what sort of a person, who is the person who's running the business, because the way we see it, a business is an extension of its owner and its board of people who are running it.
Exactly.
So if I'm to pose the question to you, Mr. Jayaweera, who is Mr. Jayaweera and what is Mr. Jayaweera's passion?
Yeah, I'm coming from Mathura. I went to Huelet College and I studied in Huelet College, and later on after high study, I just went to the, it's an institute, National Apprenticeship Board. There I was trained, and then only I came to this field actually. So later on I came to the training for 4 years, where I was trained at Walker Sons and Company Limited. It is a former engineering company. It's a major, biggest company. There are two companies. One is the Walker Sons and Company, other is a commercial, Colombo Commercial. So those are the two companies. In 1980s, 70s, totally engineering solution was provided.
So you are an engineer by profession, I believe. And now a person of, we've had many guests who come up here with different sorts of business modules that are not really sort of familiar and famous in Sri Lanka. And I feel like the company that you're representing, the Airflow Systems Private Limited, is also one such company, because according to your business model, it's about domestic, commercial and industrial ventilation. Now, of course, ventilation could be perceived as a very minor concept, a minor product. So ventilation, okay, we have your AC units, you have your car units, yes, ventilation is important, so what? How do you build a business model out of such a thing? Yeah. What is Airflow Systems Private Limited and how did it come to be?
Yes, actually it was according to the prevailing requirement. When it's come to the 1980s, so there is no such a ventilation requirement in the market, because the main thing is there is no such a building came up. Now there is a high-rise buildings, hotels and supermarkets. All those things are coming very regularly, very frequently. Now, then again, when it comes to the city, so space limits to construct. There is a next to another building, So, and then again, when it's come to the high-rise building, and when you say it's a hotel, so always there should be a ventilation. Otherwise, because the compact buildings, without ventilation you can't survive inside. So these are the things, and because of that only ventilation industry came up. So as example, when you get the high-rise building, there is a staircase and separate floors are there. So when in case of fire, you say no one can say at what time the fire is coming up. So then there should be a path to people to escape. So because of that, what we do is we will pressurize the staircase in order to fire will not come into the staircase. So without staircase pressurization, normally UDA or fire department will not allow, they will not issue the approval from the government to, ultimately it should be there. So then again car park. When it goes to car park, there should, normally car parks are on the basement, below the ground level.
Right.
So when it comes, there should be a sufficient, of course, for the engine to run. There should be oxygen. So this, because of oxygen only, it will be fired and it will be started.
Yes.
Cars are normally run when oxygens are available. So sufficient oxygens you are not providing into the basement, you cannot start the car.
Right.
So ventilation should be there in the car park. Then again, when you go to the toilets, there should be exhaust systems. So all those things cannot be. You have to centralize it. Otherwise, with the time space limits you are having in the, you say Colombo City, this building next to other one, all are adjoining.
Yeah.
The blind walls are there. So central system has to be introduced, and then it has to go through the pipe or ducts up to the roof level or somewhere only it has to be released. Then when you come to the hotel also same thing. There should be a toilet, exhaust, car park, and then again kitchen. Kitchen is the most important place for the hotel. Definitely. Because all tasty foods are making, all these things. So there you should have a sufficient exhaust, not only exhaust, the ventilation system basically. So you have to take out all the hot air, and whatever the cooking smell has to be taken out, and fresh air has to be introduced. So that is what this industry has come up, and this is now already become a major part in the industry. Without this, you can't have any building in Colombo City or even anywhere in the global.
Definitely.
Yeah.
As you mentioned, Mr. Jayaweera, now with the city limits and how construction is being done and how congested it is, I think ventilation plays a very key role when it comes to the industrial buildings or whatever. And most importantly, I felt like I mentioned earlier, the industry of ventilation is not really known about. It is a core business, it is a core requirement that a lot of people need, but not a lot of people have heard about, okay, this is something, this is not like a quite famous industry. But from your explanation, of course, Ms. Jayaweera, it is quite evident that the ventilation industry is something that should prevail. And if quality is not maintained in it, it creates a lot of hazards and it could almost be detrimental. So the company Airflow Systems Private Limited, of course, started off in 2005. Now it's almost 2 decades. If you had to reflect back on the past, how did the company come to be and how has the journey been so far?
Yeah, from the initial stage, we are very difficult to, main thing is capital. Prime matter is the capital. We have found it and we have established, but then I have faced a lot of difficulties to find out the people, employees. Because when I advertise to looking at the engineers for the top jobs or whatever it is, that time top jobs are there. So very rare people are coming to work with us because they thought there is no, long-term journey with the ventilation company. So that was my difficult task at the initial. Otherwise, then later on, people understood. Then we were working very nicely. We have been giving our solutions to the clients very carefully. And actually, when I look at my past, I am basically engineer, and I was a HVAC engineer, heating, ventilation, and air conditioning engineer. And I have deviated to this field because I have seen this as a very good market, niche market. This was
definitely.
So later on, I started my own company, and keeping some sort of profit. And no one is doing that time, actually. Only 2-3 companies that also started because of, I was I would say, I'm the leader. I'm the invention of these all standard and all. Standards were there.
Yeah.
There is a standard called ASHRAE and SMACNA. ASHRAE is the standard, normally it's called American Society of Heating, Refrigeration and Air Conditioning Engineers. Based on that institute, only we are gathering all these details and data standards. You have to work within that standards what they have given. So, but still things has to be calculated, designed, and everything has to be done to suit our environment. Normally when you get the Colombo City, what you call temperature and humidity level, it is exceptionally high. Humidity is very high. compared to the other countries. Wherever you go to other countries, you will not feel the sweating like this.
Yeah.
Here in Sri Lanka, sweat so much, and temperature also, average maintain is 32 Celsius. So when you consider all those things, you cannot be within the standard as well. Your experience also to be used when you are getting all these data. So doing that, we were doing well actually. So our clientele was increased and people are coming to us. So that is how we became up to this level.
Ms. Jayaweera, you mentioned that, okay, this ventilation industry was there in Sri Lanka, but maybe not to this extent. And you also mentioned that, yes, there were standards that were preset for the ventilation core, how the industry should operate. But what was important was the fact that you had to localize it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like you mentioned, your expertise was required, your know-how, your technical know-how was required to ensure that, yes, ventilation should be up to standard, the predefined global standard, but it has to also sort of cater to the requirements of the Sri Lankan market.
Market and atmosphere, yeah.
Definitely, because like we had during this exchange, the common theme was that ventilation is something quite important, and if it's done wrong, it could cause a lot of damage.
Yes.
And I think the way that Airflow Systems Private Limited has gone through is not only have you all brought in the concept, grown the concept, but of course increase the adaptability of the concept.
Exactly, yeah. So you have to train the people, engineers who come to the work. So you have to train them without hiding anything. You have to give whatever the things you have. So they will learn. And actually now these days I am not going for even site inspections.
You have trained your workforce and given them the
people,
trust.
even most of the client is well known to me. Then they call me, just look at that and send me somebody. Oh, if you come, it will be better. Then again,
that is the trust you have built in.
Already made it, yeah.
Definitely. So it's an entirely big journey that we have to discuss. Almost a 2-decade journey, a 20-year-long journey that we have to discuss. But before that, let's go for a short commercial break. This is Business Best, and we are currently in conversation with Airflow Systems Private Limited. We'll be back after a short break. Welcome back to Business Best. We are currently in conversation with Mr. Jayaweera, the Managing Director at Airflow Systems Private Limited. So Mr. Jayaweera, we were talking about how Airflow Systems came to be and what the market was like. If I'm to ask you now, you have gone through a lot of experiences as an engineer, as an entrepreneur, as a company that started in 2005, and now it's 2024. As a person who's been in the industry, as a person who has gone through and faced many challenges and overcome them, how do you see the business market in Sri Lanka? How has it changed from 2005 to 2004? Do you think it's the same, or can a new and up-and-coming business go through the same path that you went through? What are your opinions on it?
Yeah, when you compare with the 2005 to up to now, number of, I would say, projects, business, rather than saying business, I'll say projects are increasing, and our turnover also increased well. And same time, we are working with a well-known product, global product. If I say the name is Solar and Palau, Spain, and that is the market leader in ventilation systems. They produce a lot of equipments related to the ventilation. So with that, actually, we have increased a lot in our market, and our turnover is, even though in, I would say, in pandemic and recession, you know, we had a very bad time, 3-4 years. So that time even we had a work, but not like previously. But we maintain. We have paid our employees this thing and all well done. And other than that, to answer your question, yes, we have increased our turnover and all. In addition to that, we got a being in Sri Lanka, we are dealing very much compared to the India. India market is like, you know, they have their own product. Rather than promoting their other products, they promote theirs. So the thing is, the S&P, the product I told you, when compared to the Indian market, they also import and distribute among them. And in Sri Lankan, we are doing better than India. So because of that, they have given us territory of Bangladesh, Maldives and Seychelles as well. So that basically, whatever the inwards, I mean, dollars are coming to in our account. As actually we were survived in the pandemic time because of that only. We had a lot of work. So that is how actually, as you, the question I have to answer is, yes, we have increased our turnover.
So there has been positive growth from 2005 to 2024 at present. And Mr. Jayaweera, you mentioned also the company had to go through a lot of challenges, especially during COVID-19, where the economic turmoil. But all of that was possible because, like you mentioned, you had links overseas as well.
Yes.
You had expanded your market.
One more thing I couldn't tell you, that when pandemic started and when recessions, so our business actually local was nothing, nil. So then immediately I went to Dubai and I have started my own company, same company. In
you
expanded it, and we have started some, actually that time, fortunate to, and I am very pleased to tell you, so we got 3 projects, a massive project. There we had it completed, and now even now it is running, but project like that up to now we didn't get. That time we have totally survived because of that only. So such a things we have done to, thing is, I don't want to send dollar from here to Sri Lanka to other countries at that time. So dollar is very restricted, and they want, government didn't allow to send even. So we have managed very comfortably at that time really.
I think that was, all thanks to the trust that you have built within the local market as well, with your expertise, your experience. And you also mentioned that at this point in time, when you have projects that are, of course, within Sri Lanka as well, your clientele is very comfortable with your said engineers joining in. They don't find it necessary that you must come to inspect it, because they have that credibility.
I have trained them and I have given them enough training.
Yes.
And sometimes I take them to the overseas and, you know, they can see different products and they know by looking at that, even saying that books and all and catalogs.
Yes.
So they know how to produce it and all. So time to time when I'm going there, I used to take one of them, and I have about 12 engineers, very qualified engineers, and 2 AutoCAD operators and electric, maintenance side. Whatever you install, there should be a service and maintenance. After sales is the main thing for this continuous progress actually. So whenever client calls us, we definitely within today, if you can't say tomorrow morning, definitely we will send it to look at that. So such things we have introduced, and different things we have, tactics we have used to get this company to up this level. Actually, we are at the moment, we are the leader in ventilation in Sri Lanka. And all the consultants and you name it, whatever the companies, I think in this esteem this also, we have hotels and all, we have worked with them. But not here.
Not yet. Well, I think the sheer proudness emanating from you when you say that you have said number of engineers, you have this many professionals working under you, is quite a wonderful sight to see. But to all of our viewers from home watching you right now, if you had to say, okay, Airflow Systems Private Limited, this is our business model, this is our portfolio, how would you put that forward? What exactly does Airflow Systems Private Limited cater to the market, if you had to ask it in that sense?
Yeah. What do you mean?
In terms of, yes, you do ventilation, but if we are to ask you, okay, what are your product categories? How should the viewers look into it?
Yeah, it is, there are different range of products. When you say ventilation, it is not exactly the ventilation.
Right.
You have a different kind of filters. You say, there is a filter called HEPA. HEPA means high efficiency particulate air filter. So these HEPA filters are using to filtrate, arrest all the viruses, especially in the hospitals. So like that, carbon filters are there. Carbon filter always absorb the chemicals and fumes in the air and odor. Especially when you introduce the system to the kitchen, so, there should be a carbon filter to absorb the odor, the kitchen smell. Otherwise, it will simply release to the atmosphere everywhere. It will be, you can see the cooking smell. That's also good, but to appetite and all. But still,
if it's in a large scale, it could be a problem.
They are in Colombo also now. It's they are, all the consultants are specifying to introduce the carbon filter, and there is another gadget called equipment called electrostatic static ESP, electrostatic precipitator. Sorry, precipitator. That also to be introduced because whatever the oil mix, you know, when you are cooking, the oil also coming with the air, that will be burnt. Burnt, and then again it will go to the carbon filter and it will be discharged to the atmosphere, because then whatever the air will discharge to the atmosphere will be free of oil and free of odor. So that is one part. Filter is one part. Other one is grills and diffusers.
Right.
So however you can see here even the air is coming from the white color, that round one, with the square one, that also is the main thing when ventilations. Air distributor equipment, that is actually, you can say, we have our own manufacturing plant here in Sri Lanka. So we are not going to purchase anything from outside. I mean, we are not import anything.
Right.
So our self-produce and install, we used to supply to other field people also. I mean, air-conditioned people also.
It's quite evident that Airflow Systems Private Limited does not only think about themselves as a company growing, but clearly from the way that you discuss about it and the things that you have told me, you also think a great deal about the Sri Lankan economic dynamic as well. Yeah. Because during COVID times, you mentioned that it was your utmost responsibility, the way that you saw it, is to ensure that the inflow of dollars is made, but the outflow should not be going from your end. And even now you mentioned that the facility here in Sri Lanka is able to manufacture the product that you're catering. So the importation is limited, but you're focusing more onto exportation. So with such a vision and a mission behind your company, what are the future plans for Airflow?
Yes, we have to we are thinking to expand, and it is a proposal only at the moment, because Spanish people I'm dealing with mainly with them only. That's a very good product in Europe. Yeah. They proposed me to have a facility here for the production of the ventilation fans. It is a bit, it's a, when you say capital wise, and we have to give the infrastructure to them, like land and actually building. We have to give them, and it should be in the pre-trade zone. So all those things we have to consider. I am just looking for the place in Viagama or somewhere in, to, now they have, there's second visit they were made, and they were looking for the place. If I get the opportunity to have a place, and I think it is not easy to purchase, but still we are willing to purchase if we can have it. We are proceeding.
The expansion is underway and more for
so my premier target to establish something manufacturing plant here, because rather than, other thing is now what their question is how you can, not only for your Sri Lankan market, so what is the other plan to promote the product in a greater area, other like India you can't do it, and only thing is Bangladesh and Maldives, that already we are doing at the moment. So, and Nepal and all, so we don't have any market to such a higher facility. I mean, for the within 8 hours you can produce some maybe 150 fans in different. So this production capacity has to be again taken out for the market. So this was the problem. So we are discussing at the moment. So my main target is to have a production facility here
in Sri Lanka, and I think bringing that particular concept into reality will also aid your factor of health with the Sri Lankan economy, where more job opportunities will be created, and more engineers such as yourself will get opportunities.
That is there, but still we have to look at that, how we, all these things, government regulations and all, how it has to.
Well, from our end, from Business Space, we would like to wish you all the very best for all of your future expansion projects, and then your dream for the company. We sincerely hope that all of it will come true. And it was such an insightful conversation to have with you, Mr. Jayaweera, with regards to an industry that not a lot of people find the importance in, but it's quite evident that it is quite important. So once again, thank you so much for joining in today's program.
Thank you very much for these things. This is Pleasure.
Definitely. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was Mr. Jayaweera representing Airflow Systems Private Limited, the Managing Director at Airflow Systems Private Limited. That concludes our episode for Business Best this week. We'll see you next week with another such episode.